Women and Relationships Crash Course Video by Tamara Griggs. Prayer is something that is prepared by a student and presented in the beginning of each class. Each prayer begins with the sign of the cross and the chime of a prayer bowl, which brings the class together, drawing their attention towards the speaker. Not only are Bible passages used in the presentation of a prayer, but students use quotes that impact their theme and poems as well. Reflection is a big part of prayer. It involves either putting our heads down and thinking over the questions asked, doing an activity, or having a communal check-in, and it affects each student in a different way. Learning through our Ophelia Speaks book, groups of students prepared presentations including one of the 9 sections that were meant to be covered. Friends, family, brokenness, mind, wounds, body image, strength, relationships 1 and 2. Through friends, we learn the importance of friends, how to deal with conflict, and what to do when you lose a friend, which all come in handy when you're a teenager affected by all of this. Through family, we learn the specific roles within a family and the importance of family within your life. There will always be hardships between family matters, but we need to always understand that our family loves us unconditionally. Through brokenness, we learn about the hardships that go on within a household and the effects a broken or divorced family has on a child, making them feel like they have no safe place even at home. Through mind, we learn about the cognitive faculties that enables consciousness, perception, thinking, judgment, and memory, and how it relates to clinical depression and stress. Through wounds, we learn about the different forms of self-harm and the effects of rape and sexual abuse. Through body image, we learn about how media-fed images of what a perfect body is meant to be clouds the judgment of teenagers, making them feel insecure, which plays a big role in the high rate of eating disorders within teens. Through strength, we learn about our cultural identity, stereotypes, and the truth and misconceptions of feminism. Through relationships 1 and 2, we learn about diverse sexualities, teen pregnancy, and understanding when you are in an abusive relationship. Discernment is a decision-making process that includes 4 steps. Exploring opportunities, seeking direction, asking for advice, and assessing your needs, abilities, experiences, and relationships in terms of this life choice. The process of discernment helps us respond to life's many choices to help us make the wise vocation choice. In order to begin the process of discernment, you must know yourself well enough to make a life choice, give yourself enough time to examine your options, and be able to think on your own without being persuaded by others' opinions. Understanding the terms that tie into personal finances are very important when it comes to adulthood, which is right around the corner. Being in debt is the state of owing money. Investing is to expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit result by putting it into stocks, bonds, or real estate. Gross income is a starting point for determining federal and state income tax of individuals, corporations, estates, and trusts. Budget is an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. FICO scores are the credit scores most lenders use to determine your credit risk. IRA is an individual retirement account that provides many financial institutions for retirement savings. Income tax refers to annual taxes levied by federal government on individual and business income. A bounced check is a check that cannot be processed because the writer has insufficient funds. Interest rate is the amount charged expressed as a percentage of principal by a lender to a borrower for the use of assets. The understanding of these terms are very important and will help make the future easier, which involves college, how to spend your money, how to save your money, how to be in charge for your credit, save for retirement, and in the future, buy a house. Understanding yourself and who you are is the first step in understanding your sexuality. Your sexual orientation does not change the fact that God loves each person as a unique individual, whether you are homosexual or heterosexual. The scientific community believes that the vast majority of homosexuals are not homosexual by choice. Because of this, homosexual persons are under no obligation to attempt to change their orientation. The Catholic teaching states that there are only 2 goals of human sexual activity. Sexual intercourse must only occur within a marriage between a man and a woman, and every act of intercourse must be open to the possible creation of new human life. In order to fully understand your sexuality, you must know yourself and you must love yourself. For the pelvic examination, there is a bimanual examination and a pap smear exam. In the bimanual examination, what they are looking for are growths, swelling, or abnormalities. During the pap smear exam, they are trying to find precancerous cells and dysplasia. You should probably get a pelvic exam at the age of 21 unless you have itching, redness, or soreness. Then you should go, and then from there on, at least once a year. STDs and sex. The most common STDs are chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, and syphilis. That is why safe sex is very important. The most common ways to have safe sex are using a condom and birth control, but that does not always prevent STDs or pregnancy. No matter how safe you are, there is always a chance sex can lead to pregnancy, which then creates a world of decisions no teenager should make. The 4 stages of grief are shock and denial, bargaining, anger and guilt, and acceptance. Grief is a part of life and everyone experiences it. It is common for people to stay in the first 3 stages of grief. Reaching the 4th stage takes time. Everyone experiences grief differently. For some, it takes 1 day to overcome grief, and for others, it takes 5 years. Everyone is different. Most people, when they hear the word grief, they associate it with death, but that's not all of what people grieve about. Ending a relationship, divorce, losing a job, or losing one's health or mobility are all things people also grieve about. Throughout this semester, we had 7 speakers: Aaron Baduke, Mrs. VK, the marriage panel, Kim Clark, Mrs. Ewell, Mrs. Searles, and Belle Etland. Through Aaron Baduke's presentation, we learned about knowing when you are in an abusive relationship and the effects of being in one. In Mrs. VK's presentation, we learned about sex, abstinence, and having safe sex. From the presentation of the marriage panel, we learned about the ups and downs of life, love, and marriage. Through Kim Clark's life story, we learned about understanding who you are, what you stand for, and to not be afraid of your sexuality. Throughout Ms. Ewell's presentations within the Wellness Unit, we were able to understand ourselves through the cube meditation. Through Ms. Searle's presentation, we learned about boundaries, friendships, and relationships. Through Belle Etland's presentation, we were able to learn about the commonness of teen pregnancy, domestic violence, abortion, and the importance of family. Through the Wellness Unit presented by Mrs. Ewell, the cube meditation opened up our eyes to who we truly are, where our friends stand, and how we handle conflicts and love. Friendships and relationships are a big component within wellness. Through this, we are able to understand where our best friends and family stand, and how those who do not stand within them should not affect our emotions or our opinion. Within the Wellness Unit, we learned about boundaries within friends and relationships. Through Ms. Searle's presentation, we were able to understand that it's okay to say no and stand your ground. We should not be pressured into do things we do not want to do. Towards the end of the Wellness Unit, our class sat in the gym and had a class meditation, and we were able to understand and reflect on the Wellness Week.